Introducing the all-new Corolla.
Acting Governor Ray Tenorio today criticized Senator San Nicolas's proposal, saying that the performance-based standard to determine pay raises for the governor, lieutenant governor, and agency directors doesn't make any sense.
If the Attorney General's compensation is going to be paid to SAT scores, then maybe he's the superintendent of education. Some of these things just don't make sense. And I get it that you want to raise the expectation of the need of the island. I mean, SATs, I'm the biggest guy for education because I believe it directly impacts the crime problem we have in our community. But trying Attorney General or public auditors' compensation to those kind of standards, which has no nexus to what they do, that doesn't make sense.
Tenorio said he is opposed to any changes to the revised Hay Plan as submitted by the governor.
I have confidence in the recommendation that was submitted. I mean, I'm part of this administration. I support the governor. I support the findings that he found based on the evaluation of the Hay study. And if they believe that the mayors deserve $10,000 raise, then they can take that to the mayor's council and pitch it to them.
The governor's proposal calls for a roughly $30,000 raise for mayors to $75,000 and a $25,000 raise for vice mayors to about $68,000. Tenorio supports that raise, saying that they deserve it, and he believes village residents would agree.
If you talk to their village residents and ask them whether they think their mayor might be worth that, I think they'll probably say yes. And the reason I say that is because I know what these guys do. I see what they're working on. The mayors in the states, you know, look, you talk about accessibility, whether it be senators or mayors. This community has a different culture about our elected officials and how we talk to them every single day, Monday through Sunday. There is no break.
You've written in your release that they, the senators, believe it's wrong for the mayors to get a better wage. San Nicolas's bill, however, does offer the mayors a $10,000 wage increase. Isn't that sufficient?
Well, let me ask you something. You know, when I was a senator, there was a proposal by the senators to increase the pay for law enforcement, and they'd offered, like, it was a 30-something%. And they said in the first year they're going to give them 2%. I thought it was an insult to public safety officials to give them a 2% increase.
So that begs the question, don't you think it's an insult to law enforcement officers to offer a $30,000 wage for mayors when the starting salary for a police officer is $26,000?
But they just went up 40%.
It's still 40% to $26,000. You could, if you gave the mayoral raise that you want to give of $30,000 is enough to hire a police officer.
You could say that, absolutely, yeah. You could hire an entry-level one. But these guys are doing peace officer work as well.
As for the proposed pay increase for himself and Governor Calvo, Tenorio said they won't take them, at least for the remainder of this term. But he acknowledged that the raise for the governor to $130,000 and the raise for the lieutenant governor to $110,000 would be available next year to them or whomever is elected. And even though he called on the senators to give back the raise they gave themselves 2 years ago without a public hearing, he did say that he does agree with the Hay recommended $20,000 pay raise for senators now.
On the one hand, you're criticizing the senators for taking the pay raise without a hearing 2 years ago, but yet you've recommended a $20,000 pay increase for senators in this plan. How do you justify that?
Well, the senators, I think our communications people put it well when they talked about what the expectations, accessibility is, and also what they perform. Now, look, I was a senator for, 4 terms? You know, there is no such thing as a day off. You go shopping, you're talking to people, I don't know how many times we've addressed things in the community, and you don't have access to public officials in many other jurisdictions in the states, and you should know this. You've been in the states.
You really think that a senator is worth $85,000 a year?
Well, I tell you what, you've got lawyers that are working for them that are making, I don't know, somewhere upwards of 60. And many of the senators for many years have been, you know, I'm not going to justify what the senators are going to get paid. They already gave themselves a pay increase. If the justification comes out.
That's what your plan recommends, $20,000.
Also, Governor, if they don't feel they deserve it, it's as simple as going to their payroll office and rejecting the increase, just like Senator Flush.
But it'll take effect next year.
Yes, it will.